Hey now, BeauMac, Good Ranchers, coming to you with some ribeye steaks. Everybody knows ribeyes are probably my favorite protein on the planet. Why? Because they just give you that really kind of middle of the ground road between that New York and that filet, right? They're tender enough, but they bring the fat, and we all know that fat is flavor, hands down. And when I look at this beef, this is being shipped in a box to your door, and you are looking at restaurant, steakhouse quality beef. I mean, these ribeyes are just gorgeous. They're evenly coated. They have a big center eye, beautiful spinalis. But what I love most about these steaks is just check out the marbling inside. That fat that runs through the protein muscle that as you cook it, any way you cook it, is gonna break down and make this absolutely tasty. This was the selling point for me with Good Ranchers. I cooked at the Super Bowl a few years back. I was like, who's Good Ranchers? They're like, who's BeauMac? Let's get together, let's cook, right? And that's what happened. And I remember slicing up these ribeye steaks for guests coming through this beautiful event and people going, wow. But I can tell you as a chef, for me, what I remembered most was this steak was so delicious. The flavor of the steak, it was like prime beef and the best I had. It picked up the grill marks, it had the fat, it was tender and it was juicy. And then everybody who had it absolutely loved it. So I was intrigued. I said, Good Ranchers, what's your story? And they were like, we are sourcing the best American-made beef on the planet. And for me, I'm sold. This is 100% American-made beef right here. Cooking 100% American-made beef for you right now with Good Ranchers. And at the end of the day, what I wanted to show you is, it's not so much when you add to it, it's when you leave it alone. I can throw salt and pepper on these steaks right now and I can grill them and you're gonna go, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. No work, right from the package, right from the cutting board, right to the grill, and everyone's fed. Or I could pan sear these, good cast iron, a little bit of butter, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of garlic, and we're gonna do that too. But at the end of the day, I wanna show you one of my favorite marinades for steaks, and why I wanted to put it in this recipe is because any box of meat you get from Good Ranchers, this is kind of your basis. If you're using sirloins, if you're using porterhouses, if you're using skirt steaks or flat irons or any steak that you wanna get, especially these ribeyes, this little marinade is your go-to everyday home marinade that takes seconds to make. We're gonna start with olive oil. About 3/4 of a cup. We're gonna add some Worcestershire sauce. Everybody knows how to say that. And we're just gonna put that in the bowl. This has, a ton of reduced spice in that Worcestershire. It kind of brings some really good flavor. It brings some acid as well too. Lemon juice, about 2 tablespoons. And then of course, some salt. Gotta have a little salt. That'll bring up the flavors in there. I love a lot of coarse ground pepper, so I'm gonna add like a tablespoon of coarse ground pepper. I'm also gonna add chili flake. Now, I have kids, so I'm careful with it depending on who I'm cooking for, but the chili flake brings a little bit of heat on the grill, which is really, really nice. Now, if you wanna add some fresh thyme to this, you're more than welcome to. Super easy to do. Any fresh herbs you want, chives, that's your kitchen, your rules, but this is the base marinade. And I can tell you what's gonna happen is if you're using a piece of beef like this, you get the marinade on it, you let it sit for a good hour on that. Once you go to the grill, you're gonna get this unbelievable kind of char and the smoke flavor, but it's gonna smell delicious, but it's gonna help caramelize the outside of this beef. There's some more tricks I'm gonna walk you guys through, like obviously cooking with room temperature beef, and then letting your beef kind of air dry before you cook it is very, very important to me. That air helps oxidize that beautiful beef, but it helps keep those natural sugars of the meat inside. All right, so now all we gotta do is whisk this beautiful marinade together, incorporate the olive oil, the Worcestershire sauce, all those little spices and herbs, chili flakes, black pepper, salt. If you have a Ziploc bag, you can add this to a Ziploc bag and marinate these things. I don't wanna marinate this beef too long. I like to go probably a good 30 minutes, maybe 45 on this. And there's a reason why. I noticed this is thick. These steaks are thick and beautiful, can hold up. But if you're using thinner pieces of meat, sometimes the acid will discolor your beef a little bit, so you won't be able to get that red color you're looking for. So I prefer this with a gorgeous ribeye because they're thick and juicy, and they can marinate for about a half an hour. It'll pick up all that good flavor, but you're still gonna get that nice red color. And here we go. That's your just basis right there. All right, you guys, these beautiful ribeye steaks have been marinated with that olive oil, that lemon juice, the Worcestershire, the salt, pepper, a little bit of herbs, a little bit of spices, and we're just gonna get them on that grill. That marinade, that oil kind of setting the edge right there. I like to work it high for a little while first. I'm direct over the coals, and then once I establish that little sear, I'll just flip these guys. Just want some good color. Direct heat on each side. There you go, kids. Beautiful bone-in ribeyes, marinated with Worcestershire, lemon juice, olive oil, little chili flake and garlic, and of course, a little chimichurri to go on top.